Hello again and welcome back everybody to another edition of the Roar Report. I am your Royal 2IC and I made a mistake. So a video came out entitled How to Vet People Before and kind of during slash after an SHTF situation. Uh, there was like 50 views or something so far. It came out, I forget what day it was. And finally, somebody sent me a message and said, Rural, I think you either mislabeled something or you uploaded the wrong video. And I was like, what are you talking about? I went back and looked and I uploaded the wrong video. And because I don't have a ton of storage space, the original has been deleted. So let's revisit and see if I can remember all the things that I tried to get across in there. Now, this came from one of the, I believe, live streams, or maybe it was another video in the comments, but somebody was talking about how do we vet people? And that really brought up a good thing for a topic for us to discuss. So let's go ahead and jump into something to where we can discuss. And we're going to bring this into a two-part. So how do we vet people now in the relative peacetime before an SHTF situation? Well, we've discussed a few of the things, and we'll go over that right now. So, for me, and granted, I'm just going to give you some ideas. You're going to have to take and see if any of these ideas will work for you, if you're comfortable with it, if you can tweak or modify them to fit what you need. Get the ball rolling to where you can come up with your own, okay? So, one of the big things that I like to do now is one, I just want to have a conversation with you. Okay. There's a lot that I can find out by one, two, three conversations. And you got to start somewhere. So you want to break that ice. You want to bring up some sort of topic, some sort of headline, something just to break the ice and get a good feel. If you bring up, let's say 2A, hey, I'm going to go out to the range here, this weekend, you want to come along? And they go, oh no, those are really bad. People shouldn't have those things. Okay, maybe they're not the best. You can bring up, wow, look at the stuff that's going on overseas. I want to go to, big box store or whatever and order some extra cases of water and some other things. And if they look at you like you're crazy, like, what are you talking about? You just turn on the sink. That's how you get water. Okay, maybe that's not the person that we're trying to go after. Now, that's not saying they're a total loss, because we may be able to continue conversation to where maybe they are a valuable asset. Maybe those people are medical. Maybe those people are farmers. Maybe those are, whatever. And they're not 100% ideal, but if you can get them into a little bit further into conversation, maybe they will come around. You need to remember before you jump in and start disagreeing, we all have been there for the most part. None of us was born, come straight into this world as a prepper. Okay. Now, you may have lucked out to where your family kind of was preppers, but for the most part, we all made that decision somewhere in our lifetime to, hey, you know what, maybe it'd be a good idea to prepare for this situation. And here we are. So, conversation, that's going to be one of your big things. Break the ice, get a feel. You're going to be able to tell a lot. So, you're going to be able to see how they answer. You're going to hear the verbiage and the word use that they choose to answer with. You're going to be able to see body language. If you ask something that is slightly controversial and they kind of wiggle and they just look uncomfortable speaking about that, that's telling. If they use different vocabulary, so if you say something political and they go on straight up talking points or whatever, you also have to try and keep in the back of your head, they might be feeling you out as well. So you have to make sure you choose what you're saying, so that way, if you both are trying to feel each other out, that you're not trying to say a certain something to see how they feel and they're waiting for that answer, so that way they go, oh well, they're too extreme or they're this or that. Okay, so you need to be very honest and you need to make sure that you're baby stepping everything so you get a good feel on the person. Next, and this is one of my absolute favorite things to do, and I've spoke on this a few times, is I like to let them gain my trust. Let them borrow my shovel. Okay. Am I going to be completely out? Is my life dependent on one single shovel? No. Okay. I don't care if that thing comes back or not. I mean, I would like it to come back, obviously, but uh, yeah, no, I'm good. Here, borrow my shovel. What do you need? You need $10? Here you go. My family is not going to struggle to survive because I didn't get that $10 back. So make sure it is small things. They need something here, they need something there. Let them borrow it. Then you can gauge. One, if they take and block you or stop talking to you or they act different or things, okay, that was an investment to see how well you can trust them. I would rather sit here and lose $100 to where I'm paying $10 a person and get none of that money back, to know when things come down to it, my friendship, the meaning that I had in their lives was worth $10. Okay. So you can sit here and have a neighbor or person down the street. You guys are friendly, you wave, everything's great and all that. And then they come and they say, oh, hey, we had some stuff come up and I'm a little down. I need $20 for gas or whatnot. And you give them that $20 and they don't give it back. I'd rather find out that I can't trust them now than an SHTF situation comes and I go down the street to ask them for help and it's a bad idea to go down there. So that's another method. Now, some of the things that you can do is you can go to different events. There's all sorts of different prepping things, homesteading events. There's like self-reliance festival that is coming up here very soon. There's a whole bunch of different ones all around the country. I can't say your name a ton of them off. I know the ones that are around me, but those are a great icebreaker to get in. If you are brand new to prepping, or even if you aren't, if you've never been to one of these festivals, that's a great way to go out and network and talk to people. And then through networking, yes, you may not live in Tennessee where Self-Reliance Festival is. So for me, I live in Ohio. If I traveled down there and went to that, then you're going to be like, okay, well, why would you network with people in Tennessee? There's people that travel to this thing all over the country. So I can sit here and maybe network with people that's, I don't know, half hour away from me that we would have never probably have met unless we both ended up at that Self-Reliance Festival or whatever event or this or that. And so that's a really great way because, yes, you're going to get bad apples in every bunch. It doesn't matter if it's a teacher, a firefighter, police, military, it doesn't matter. Okay. There's bad people in every organization or group or whatever. Okay. But that's where vetting comes in. And so when you get down somewhere to where it is a group that is preppers and homesteaders and bushcrafters and all that, they network too. And so for you to run in and see Bob, oh, okay, well, me and Bob strike up a conversation, and I realize that Bob, lives a half hour from me. I can start going around to the other people I've networked and go, hey, do you know anything about this Bob guy? And I can get, one or the other. Oh, no, don't go around Bob. Bob's, a liar and, he's a thief and he's this and that. And then right there, okay, I know. Already vetted, don't have to go any further. Or you can go to some other people and they can go, no, Bob's great. He's helped us out a ton. He's full of knowledge. He's a great guy and all this other stuff. There you go. It's kind of like a background check. I'm getting references. And that's why I love to be able to network. Now, once you get going, you're also going to need to make sure that once you pass that first step or two, so you've talked to them, they check the box. They seem to be pretty good. Two, you've kind of build a little bit of trust. You let them borrow your shovel, they brought it back. You've done this, they reciprocate. And real quick, touching on that, when you let them borrow something as insignificant as a shovel, how long did they keep it? What's the condition that they returned it in? I've let somebody borrow my shovel, and they had it for a week, week and a half. It came back to where the head of the shovel was nice and clean, and it came back with a different handle. And they told me, "Hey, man, I'm really, really sorry, but I was using your shovel. I snapped the handle. Uh, I replaced it, cleaned it up. I'm really sorry. I'm thankful for you let me borrow it, but I just wanted to let you know." That's huge for me. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you. You didn't just throw it in the trash. Be like, "Hey, I broke your shovel. Sorry." You didn't bring it back to me in pieces. Going, "Here, this is your problem now." So it tells a lot, you know. And I'll tell you real quick too. You can tell a lot about people when they think nobody is looking. And so if you talk to somebody, if you build a little bit of trust in things, go do something with them. Take them to like a festival, or take them to some sort of group meeting or whatever. Go out to an event and step away and go back and just kind of look from a little bit of a distance, because you're going to get to see, do they act one way when they're around you and completely different when you're not around? Does their demeanor change? Does their vocabulary change? You can tell a lot about people. It's kind of like putting the cart back when you leave the grocery store. There is a ton of people that when nobody's looking, it's all just perfect strangers. They'll never see me again. I'm just going to be a jerk and just leave this right here in the middle of the parking lot. Okay, that tells me a lot. If you're one of those people, you're on my pet peeve list, and I don't want you. If you are that lazy and that inconsiderate in a time of peace, why would I want to take and have my life dependent on you? So I know it's petty, but it's one of those ones. You have to be very strategic on who you're trying to pick. We did a video, and actually a couple, but one that pops in my mind is the 10 types of people that you want to look for. You need to be strategic. It's not just about convenience. The world's already convenient and comfortable enough. Don't be lazy when it's trying to pick out people that your life is going to depend on. So you want to make sure that you have different areas covered. So who's going to grow your food? Who's going to cook your food? Who's going to hunt? Who's going to fish? Who's going to preserve it? You're going to have people that is going to provide safety and security. You're going to have people that's going to provide medical. You're going to have people, that are just community laborers. I mean, there's a ton of different ones, and you got to make sure you have that balance. You cannot sit here and be like, "Well, I know Bill, Bob, Fred, George, whatever, and they're all my buddies, and we're all good." That's great and all, but there's two things to consider before you just start doing this out of whim. One is, do they cover everything? If they're just shooting buddies and that's all you guys are, that's great, but that's an awful lot of mouths to feed, and who's going to do the rest of the stuff? Okay, so it's one of the things to consider. Make sure you diverse. For every 5 people in this thing, you're going to have to be able to feed them. You're going to have to be able to take care of them. You're going to have to be able to provide shelter and all. So you have a whole bunch here. That's great. But now you have to reciprocate in all the other fields. It's a big circle, and you got to make sure that you have everything covered, and not just one. Okay, you got to make sure that you have multiple if possible. I know it's a lot. Trust me, I get it. And this is where that lone wolf thing comes out. It's not a good idea. So don't have it to where one person is a doctor. Hey, we've got the greatest doctor there is. Okay, there's a lot that can go wrong. You need to have a bunch of people that are at least have medical training. They don't have to be brain surgeons or anything, but make sure they have some sort of medical knowledge. You're going to want to have to where you and Bob are out on a hunting or fishing or whatever, and there's an accident. If everybody has a little bit of knowledge, then maybe I can go through and put a tourniquet on. Maybe I can stop the bleed and get him stabilized, instead of now he's bleeding out and he can't walk, and I've got to try and drag him through the forest 3 miles back to base camp where the doctor is. Probably not going to make it. Okay, so let's, in the sake of time, let's go to after an SHTF situation. So usually when an event happens, you're going to have pandemonium and chaos. Okay, it's probably not the best time to be trying to find somebody. It's why it's best to do it beforehand. Are you going to find somebody when something happens? Probably not. You're not going to see the true nature of somebody. Desperation makes people do really odd, desperate things, and desperation usually ends up getting you really seriously injured, if not worse. And so you're probably going to have to wait a certain period of time before you can try and recruit, if that's the word, vet. Let's go with that. Excuse me. So you're going to have to wait a period of time, and then you're probably going to follow almost the same sort of steps as before. You're going to you're going to want to have that conversation. You want to figure out who they are, where they're from, what are they doing, what skills do they have, what level of importance do I need to consider about you. Then you're going to have to give them some time. Okay, they have to be able to build your trust. Now, I've seen different people that they will take, and let's say they have 10 acres. Well, they'll take a small area, maybe 50 foot by 50 foot or whatever, out the very corner, and they'll go, okay, listen, you know what? You seem like a good person or good people. Here is a little survival kit. Got some food, some water, some little items and whatnot. You're going to go way over there, and you can stay on this corner of my property. And then you're going to draw a line. You come across this line uninvited, then it's going to be bad news, okay? And see how they do. Give them a day, give them a couple of days, give them a week. Can they survive on their own? Are they making a shelter? Are they building a fire? Are they able to take care of themselves? That's one of the big things you're going to want. You don't want, especially after an SHTF situation, 10 more mouths to feed that can't take care of themselves. Now, I know it sounds very cold hearted, but you're going to have to make very difficult situations, and you're going to be put in those situations. You're going to have to make difficult decisions. And so, unfortunately, you're going to want to vet the people to make sure they provide something for the group. They're going to have to be somewhat reliant. They're going to have to provide some sort of skill or have some sort of knowledge or something to make them to where they are a valuable asset and not just another mouth to feed. Now, that can be anything from just being general labor. If you look into the workforce right now, general labor is a hard thing to fill. Usually it's kind of I don't want to say easy jobs, but usually it's not really a skilled job. It's a job that nobody wants to take and roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty. So finding people that'll do just basic general labor, probably a good thing to have, especially if they show a willingness to learn. If they're already a smart person with something called common sense, they can apprentice. Stick them over here, stick them over there. Let them sit there and get a little bit of a feel, and maybe you've got a really great gardener or a really great blacksmith or whatever, and now that you're showing them, now it comes out. You can't dismiss every single person. And one of the big things I want to touch on before I end this, I know I've skipped a ton of stuff. We'll probably come back and do a part two and really take a bigger deep dive. I just wanted to get something out there to make up for my mistake. I apologize. And two, I wanted to get people thinking. So we'll probably come back and touch on this a couple more times. But let me give you one thing that I see before I end this. Everybody that says once an SHTF situation comes about, then the walls of the castle go up and we are sealed off. Okay. If you are not willing to at least hear somebody out, to at least maybe consider accepting somebody in, put yourself in that situation of being the person on the outside. It can happen. Okay, we're sitting here talking about EMPs and nuclear holocaust and all sorts of different events and things, and we're saying that that is a possibility. Then the possibility of you having a mag, whether that's your family, whether that's you and your neighbors, or maybe you have a small 10-person mag or whatever, if we're going to go with worst case scenario, You have 10 people, some event happened, and you're by yourself. Okay. Even if you want to go that far, you were out hunting and something happened and you both darted off in a different way and now you're lost. Okay. You're wandering around, tromping around. You've been out there for 2 weeks. Can't get your bearings, can't figure things out, whatever. And you stumble upon a community. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to go up there and go, hey, here's my situation. I mean you no harm. I'd like a safe place to where my guard isn't up 1,000%, 24 hours a day. I'd like, a place that I can rest for 2 days, relax, take a shower, maybe eat some hot food, and just, get everything, and then I'll be on my way. Wouldn't that be great? You're not planning on staying there forever. You got your own group to get back to. But maybe they have some information. Oh, hey, you know what? You wandered up north. You actually want to go a little bit more to the west, and I think your group's over there. It's one of those ones that I think people dismiss it. I think they get very Hollywoodized, and they think that everybody's going to be out to get them. There's a lot of good people still left in this world. And I think that just point blank dismissing that every single person that comes on your property is a life or death threat is not a good thing. Will there be? Oh, absolutely. I believe there will. Not everybody, though. Okay. And it may be that missing link. Maybe that person that come across your property, maybe they're a doctor. Maybe they were an EMT, and maybe you only have one. And wouldn't it be nice to have two just in case? So it's one of those ones that you need to make sure that you are open minded, give it consideration. Because I think you can go too far one way and too far the other way just as easily. You need to have that balance. And I believe one of the biggest things about any sort of prepping, homesteading, survival, any of that, it's all about balance. Too much in one way, you tip the scale out. Too much of the other way, you fall off too. There's got to be that sort of balance. You can have all the water in the world, but without food, doesn't mean anything. Just the same as everything else. You can have all the medical supplies and all the medical training, but if you don't have a way to defend yourself, then what do you really have? So make sure that as you go through and you vet people, find out their skill, find out their talent, find out what they know, find out how they can possibly help you. It's almost like a job interview. Once you do all that, you've talked to them, you check that box. You've let them build some trust over the next couple of weeks. Everything seems to be good. You've asked a few people, around. Everybody seems to like them. You've gone out to a couple of events. You went out to the range. They seem to know what they're talking about. You've invited them in. You've done this. You've done that. All the boxes are checked. Put them to work. Okay. If they come up and they go, hey, man, I'm your gardener and canner, great. Show me your garden. Come over and tell me about my garden. Give me some pointers. Let's can together. There's a whole bunch of different things on that you should probably take into consideration. And then one final note before I wrap up. You need to make sure that you are considering your entire mag. So if your mag is as small as just you, your significant other, your kids, and your dog, you need to make sure that everybody's okay with Bob. Because just because you guys are good drinking buddies and you guys love sports and you love to go out and fire off a few rounds and different things, that's great. But how well does your wife or husband like Bob? Your kids? Your dog? I know some of that seems a little silly, but I'm going to tell you one thing. You can have the greatest dog in the world. Everybody that comes up, doesn't matter if it's a salesman, the neighbors, cat, whatever, that dog usually waggling, all happy, everything's great. Then you have that one person that just comes up out of nowhere. Maybe they're a salesperson or whatever. They're dressed pretty nice. They have a smile and all that, and that dog starts growling. Get off my property. I don't even want to hear a word. That dog don't trust you. I don't trust you. There's something about the animal kingdom that knows, and it cannot be hidden. You cannot lie your way out of it. So make sure that everybody, because you can know Bob for the last 10 years, but if your kid doesn't feel comfortable around him, you really want to be in close quarters trying to survive out the end of the world, you need to make sure that everybody, and pull them off one to one, completely private, away from everybody. Hey, I've vetted Bob. I've been talking to him for the past 6 months. Every box is checked and all that. What do you guys think? Make sure it's unanimous. Has to be unanimous. And make sure everybody understands. You have something to say. You've got to say it now. Okay. Once you put your vote in of aye, he can come in, you know, then if everybody says yes, then it's yes. If you go, something just doesn't seem right, well, maybe it needs another couple weeks of vetting. Maybe it'll be one of those things where they go, I don't know. He just gives me a weird vibe and it makes me uncomfortable. Okay. Something as simple as that. Okay. Sorry, Bob. You know, maybe you don't have to cut him out completely. Maybe you can keep him at his arm's reach. Maybe you can help Bob set up his own bag. Listen, man, I think you're a great guy, but our mag's just not for you. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I networked out here and I know Kyle. Kyle is kind of out in that area. Well, you and Kyle kind of hook up and see what you guys can form over there. Just because, whatever reason he can't join my mag doesn't mean that he's a terrible person and I need to shut him out of my life. Maybe I can set up that to where now, Kyle and Bob's up here and they're forming their own thing and I'm down here forming my own thing. SHTF situation happens. Now we have trading partners. Now we have intelligence trading. Now we have all sorts of different things. Hey, man, I need some help. Can you guys come down here? Oh, yeah, sure. We'll be right down. There's a lot of things to consider in this. So, but, okay. I'm done. I have ranted far enough. We will go back into this thing a little bit later. We'll take a deeper dive into different things. If I left something out, leave it in the comments. If you think that I did good, let me know. If you think I did bad, equally, let me know. And then, if you made it this far into the video, guess what? You rock. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And then the other thing is if I ever do something like that again, do not be afraid to be like, yo, Rural, what's up, dude? So that way I can get this fixed. So I apologize. But we caught it. We're getting it fixed. And I will do my best to not make that. But then again, the channel's been around for a year, and this is the first time I've ever done that. So I'm going to try and break that before it becomes a habit. There we go. All right, guys, stay tuned. More information to come. Say it with me now above everything else. Please remember to remain united because we're all prepping in this together.